Witam serdecznie w czwartym odcinku serii Zagrajmy w Divinity Original Sin. Tak, od razu zagadam, żeby nie łaził, bo on łazi tu w kółko, a po co ma to robić? No i zaczynam właśnie jakby cały w poprzednim od rozmowy z burmistrzem.
What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, mayor of Cyseal, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite What? Oh, you mean Cyseal? Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jacon by source magic, the undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of that's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or... And, while we're on the subject of troubles, Jake, murdered? Oh yes, yes, now I recall, indeed. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, as you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit suggestive. But I've never an all-right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Cyseal. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years, those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if... you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice... Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about...
Coś mu się pogrzało chyba.
What now? Oh, you're speaking? You mean the staff of Pergamon? Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo was this very powerful... Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know his name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter. That ship still docked at the Cyseal harbor. You can talk to... That depends. What kind of berries are... the library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. Marvelous.
Głuchy.
What? Oh, yes. This library, my Victoria, has every volume you could possibly... Yes. Victoria's come a long way from that little bundle of claws and teeth I adopted so... What? Oh, yes, yes.
A source hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Cycelian eyes!
Nic wartego uwagi. Jest nie ten NPC.
Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor... For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Orius now and then. But then, though, that band of... I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meet...
The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart. Omnes autem mali... What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken. For you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a No. A source hunter. That is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery. A chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our Why, simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests now. I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not? This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but on one condition. that on our joint travels we will never deal with
Dobra, nie układajcie z demonami. Okej.
Very well. There will be no deals with
You speak before your...
Oh, simple souls. Oh, the source hunter. Wise. Now, this is on one.
Very well.
Agreed. Nothing...
Most gratifying. I see you are firm of purpose and thereby ready to descend. Descend.
Mag. Powietrza i wody. Ale ma kostur. Leczenie. Deszcz. Namrażanie. Zabawę w senat. Najwspanialsze zaklęcie powietrza, czyli teleportację. I rażenie piorunem.
In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Geta Hal, be welcome. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil, he raised me like...
Przygarnął się jako dziecko orka. Uczycę młodą.
Taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride.
Ciekawe, o co chodzi z tą książką. Na pewno będę chciał ją kupić, skoro kosztuje 1000 sztuk złota ponad. Zwoje. A, widzę, że zwojem będzie kombinacji. Zanie się.
Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hold is yours to peruse and even take with you. Volume 1, Volume 2, but where has the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
Ja, bo to... To lepiej, żebyś na wszelki wypadek ty przeczytał. Ta, skoro jestem w bibliotece, to będzie dużo książek. Upuść.
Place this book here. A volume of poetry among novels. Urak. Mayhem.
striking it rich!
Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urak. Mayhem.
O,
Sigurd's beard, what a find!
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where has the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
tak, tu są przepisy, nie?
Kajdinar. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another fine.
Tak, tutaj... Jak chcieliście zobaczyć, to mogliście zapauzować. Tak, księga kucharska. Zakon łowców też sobie mogę stworzyć, to jest tylko książka. Informuję nas, kim jest nasza organizacja. Najważniejsze jest, żebym zachował rozkazy. Kartka papieru, może nie.
When I was the fisherman he raised in deep.
What can I do? And undoubtedly, I am not from any place anymore. I go where my quest leads me. Besides, I remember them well, the sandstone castles. Hewed like... Yes, I can see them for 1,000 reasons. And for one. Their scourge 2. Their machinations 3. Their perversions seek 4. Their schemes 5. Their presence distorts all intrinsic harmony.
Brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned.
Hunter, I could find you crossed. More prey.
Tak, mam tylko nadzieję, że nie będę tego żałował. I że nie trafię na sytuację, że układanie się z demonem będzie mniej niebezpieczne dla postaci, czy będzie mniej realne niż... czy bardziej realne niż ten, że będę... Nie pożałuję, że będę musiał się układać z demonem, a ten mi się... O, tej książki nie sprzedałem, trudno. A, tu jest książka kucharska. Tak, przepisy. Sztylet domowej roboty, miecz domowej roboty. Strzały. Drzazgi. Serio.
Legion's greetings. I have been informed about your heroics on the beach. Were that I had been there to partake in the battle. But my duties lie here. Sworn as I am.
Nic wartego uwagi.
I am Septimus, 7th son in a household of 9. Legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Cyseal from day 1. Alas, both of them have... So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Riverland, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands steadfast will I guard her. Jake's murder is, in a word, a tragedy. He was well loved in all of Cyseal. The Council of 7 couldn't have wished for a better and what questions are those? Don't even mention those rotten carcasses to me. They're the reason we've been stuck in this dead-end town for nigh on 2 bloody years. All fun and games in the beginning, but just you lose a couple of friends fighting those fiends. I hold by the belief that this place is cursed. First, the undead, who are getting more vicious by the day, mind.
Okej. Pogadajmy z nią.
Lords above, grant me patience. You're a source hunter, aren't you? Here because you think I killed my... I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. Like I told just about every Legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly go beyond the... Well, what do you want to know? Cyseal. Would you believe this dying metropolis was rather recently one of the realm's greatest assets? Our trade route, they came out of nowhere. Must have been, 2 years ago now? The very heart of winter. I smelt them before I saw them in the night. Torchlight reflected in their eyes like it does in predators. But these were no wolves. These were our ancestors, come to devour Starstone. I've never heard of such a thing. Dear Jake had a mineral collection. Do you mean to imply he collected something dangerous? Something that may have gotten him into trouble?
Be quite adamant about her innocence.
We need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
Leave me be, I have a job to do.
Ta, no ma trochę rzeczy.
What can I do for you, source hunter? More prey.
Tak, nie to miejsce. O, mogę już pójść na górę. Hej, ja tego gwiezdny kamień zbieram. Rodzajem. No tutaj wykorzystałem to też, że jej nie ma, więc nie powinien chyba oberwać po łbie. Teraz, gdzie są cholerne koszary? A jeszcze sprzedawca waży, bo nie sprawdzałem asortymentu. A, składniki rzemieślnicze to są dla mnie do kraftowania jedzenia. Serio, tylko to jest z składnikami? A, dobra, bo reszta to są od razu do spożycia też. No tak, tu jest ten dom burmistrza. Teraz jest strzał. A, dobra, to nie w tę stronę idę. Muszę się najpierw tutaj przyjść do kapitana. Będzie tędy. A, widzę, że w miarę blisko do poziomu mam na głównych postaciach. A, bo moje postacie w ogóle mają drugie, a nie trzecie poziomy. Panowie. A nie, to zwykły szczur.
Excellent. Let's keep it that way.
Złoto! O, pozwalam zabrać mi strzały, to bez kradzieży to biorę.
I wouldn't venture too far out of town if I were you. Many legionnaires did so before you. Very few have returned.
Zaklęcie, ciekawe.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly. Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a what. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat.
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another Legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well...
Attention! About face!
We're here to hunt source, not play babysitter.
Let's not be too rash.
Can't say I'm surprised. You wouldn't want an untamed thing like that.
If I've got my say. Ice blue eyes, narrow beneath a heavy brow, streaked with sweat and dust. Her hands.
Her brow knits together, but something in her pose relaxes. She clears her throat.
I am Bear Daughter. I have not come here to find trouble with the Screech woman. And you are a source hunter. I have this woman here. The one who now plots her revenge. She crept behind me while I was hunting, and I only defended myself. I would not hurt, but soon their swords were upon me, and they forced me into this cage meant for dogs. Mother would rip the fur from her.
Jest łuczniczką.
Say, Source Hunter, do you reckon the vendor's got a...
Well, that...
Perhaps it'd be worth taking.
After all,
Well, that's a relief, ain't it?
Heed me, Source Hunter.
A nie, ma tylko strzały. Pytanie.
Sorry, sir.
Czym ma zdolności? Łuk. Aj, broń z tenebrium, super. W połowie gry może się stanie przydatne. A, dobra, ja też dzbaniłem, bo...
Source Hunter, I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by your... In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
It is strange to stand with one. Perhaps in time I will come to know my own kind as you have. And perhaps then I will decide. You say you will take me under your wing. But I see no feathers. Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears? And so the lonely babe was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind. He thrived among his... The wise godwolf Amira raised the child Threes among her litter. So you see, I have good company. Threes the wolfson, and I the bear daughter. In truth, this is a relief. You ask freely, my friend. Your city is far more wild than Home Forest. In Home Forest, the rules are clear. Here, a tiny screech woman, no swifter than a mudworm, might confine you into a tiny cage. Jarrett, wise Jarrett, taught me the bird songs of our people. A beast's life is to survive. I have learned all the bird song that Jarrett could teach. The remembering of the beasts is without... We do not remember Rito and the battle of the buzzing brutes. We remember only... It is different. He came to me when I was small. A fierce, wild one, yet unaware of the difference between the other cubs and herself. He called to me in a soft song. At first I thought him a great bird. Jarrett visited me often, and in time I learned his songs and more. When he built a small cabin within Home Forest, I hunted his food and fetched his water by day. Jarrett is my master and my friend, my teacher and myself. I heard this was a place of many people, so here I came. I have seen more faces, but I have not found the face I seek. That mystery is thick and ugly as a swarm of hornets. I watched countless of my loved ones die, rotted from the inside. When I ran the next morning, Jarrett did not emerge from his room. I left him be, but after 3 days I grew anxious. I broke. He was kidnapped, and all his research was taken with him. The only clue I found was a letter among the scraps. I could not make out all the words, but I recognized the threat. Death. I do not know the one called Attenborough. Fine, my friend?
Tak, no. Powiedzmy, że... Okej, broń zdobyłem, więc... Oczywiście mógłbym. O, siedziba Legionnaire. Skrzynie z dowodami. To jeszcze na koniec odcinka rozmowa z kapitanem.
A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Cyseal, but don't make... I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Cyseal. By which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. For I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo... Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother, but he just Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission. Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice. What? You're going to stand there and claim with us? If you... Bravo! Figured that one out, did you? And how am I enjoying? We are the pride of Riverlon. To be found and to be seen everywhere. We don't hide in... I'd say they're looking for weak spots in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not a... Yes! And he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sex.
Latające dywany, o, cudowne. Rzeczywiście nic nie mogę tu ruszyć na razie.
How can I help you, my friend? But certainly. What would you like? Oh, I am but a wizard, a guardian of man and beast, and indeed I am both. My task upon this earth is to protect the heart of nature, the very antithesis of which is, you see, my one desire is to witness a world in which every mother looks around her and purrs with calm contentment, for she knows that her chicks or children are, to my great regret, none of them. Oh, but that's not a trick. Such to be out. But of course it's handy to... Oh, that'll never happen. Granted, a witch could make the polymorph permanent if she'd enchant me in my cat. I'm my own wizard, you know, and I don't intend to become anyone's familiar, by all means. I can't say much more, but that they're madmen, all the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a Of course. I hope you're... I can but piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a... They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was... I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. I myself have none, even though the rest of the town has already met. Now, it may well be established that she is in fact the guilty party. I'm not claiming that I'm certain she's innocent, but let's just say that if I really thought that... What? I'd never. If you must know, I was merely... What a delight she is. The temperament... And what might those be? Those who are raising the dead dwell among us. They simply must be. But even though I've spent many a night leaping from tree to rooftop, watching on as citizens, the enemy is wily. You have a flair for understatements, Hunter. I'm sure they are but a minor nuisance in the eyes of a born wolf until they conclude what mischief they intend to see through, or, less likely, they are conclusively defeated. We can but bar the gates and hole up like mice while they... Oh, a mere trifle for one with the intellect of a feline and the engineering skills of a human. You basically construct a classic ballista.
Tak, jeszcze z nim pogadałem. Jeszcze sprawdzę, czy coś ciekawego jest w piwnicy. Nie bardzo. Chyba że szczur. miałby coś do powiedzenia. Ale dobra, już nie chcę mi się tu kombinować. Po prostu nie mogę zgarniać lutu, bo i tak są... byłaby to kradzież. O, tu jeszcze jakiś NPC z imieniem.
A sight for sore eyes if ever there was one.
Czoły są fajne, ale nie chce mi się aż wydawać na nich hajs. Na razie mam ich sporo. Mam 8 zapalających, 5 z trucizną.
I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation. We've been conducting a series of expeditions. Lieutenant Selenia at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second in command. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition and even rivalry between our orders. And that is exactly what your presence in Cyseal is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only the undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Cyseal after all. No longer do I the bravest among my men, and women tell me they are weak. I shall be very glad to share what information I can. It's very sweet of you that you are trying to get... Sure, they can tie a knot and blow a whistle like the best of them. But even with a sword in their hands, they wouldn't stand a chance against the undead. And I don't want any more blood on my hands. If ever we want to be victorious in Cyseal, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation. The lighthouse, there's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No map. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether... There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As a local archaeologist offered...
No tak, stare cmentarze zawsze magnes na nekromantów.
The Cycelians razed it and built a church for the 7 instead. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead... So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why the chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful...
Tak, no... Ale rozmowa z... Porucznik to było na razie tyle. Chociaż ciekawie, o co tu chodzi.
Isn't it a chicken's destiny to be eaten? We should catch it.
Wait a minute! I don't want to see this poor chicken!
If this chicken belongs to the chef...
Plenty of tasty dishes can be made, sans meat, but with equal nutritional value. Set him free.
Serio? Ej, czemu masz 2 perswazji?
Come on, chicken, 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 viens chez papa. Come on, chicken, 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 viens chez papa.
Dobra, wziął papier kiełkami.
Viens chez papa.
Okej.
No, we'll do as I say.
What? No!
Bezduszność, współczucie. O tak, postać do backstabów.
That was close. Thanks for catching Fidgety Jack here. I guess he got enough. Let's have that bird then, shall we? Our troops are mighty hungry.
Ma też zwoje magiczne i sporo złota. Szkoda, że tu nie ma jakiejś kategorii... O, złote łyżeczka, książka. Właśnie, książki. O, tego muszę użyć właśnie na tej postaci przy okazji. I zmienić zbroję w końcu. Czyli łopata jest bardzo cenna. Cyk. To jeszcze szybko. Okej, poziom 3 muszę mieć. Aha. Dobra, ty łap sobie czapeczkę. I na tym skończymy ten odcinek. Gdyż i tak już się zaczął przyciągać. Więc w nim to byłoby na tyle. W kolejnym pójdziemy oczywiście zająć się wątkiem głównym, tym miejscem zbrodni. Ale to w kolejnym odcinku już to było na tyle. Dzięki za uwagę. Zapraszam na kolejne odcinki. Cześć!